Imagine a quiet kitchen at the end of a long day, the hum of the fridge, a mug cooling on the counter, and two people who love each other staring at the same problem from different sides. In that space, small words can feel like shouts. Big feelings crowd a small room. This is where emotional first aid for relationships matters most, because the moment pain shows up, love needs tools, not guesswork. If you're here, you already care about repair. You want conflict recovery that doesn't leave a bruise on tomorrow. You want a communication repair kit you can reach for without thinking. Welcome to Whispered Hearts, English, a place where we build relationship resilience with gentle clarity and practical, US couples advice that fits real life. Think of your bond like skin. It's resilient, but it can tear if it's stretched too fast. The goal is not to avoid every scratch. It's to clean, soothe, and protect. So healing happens quickly. With the right emotional support strategies, even misunderstandings become places where intimacy grows stronger roots. When tension rises, the nervous system floods with signals. Hearts race, voices sharpen, and both people try to be heard while they can barely listen. This is the moment to reach for the simplest tool in the kit, the pause. Not a dramatic exit. A brief, agreed time-out that says, our connection matters more than winning this minute. Imagine it like tapping the brakes on a wet freeway. You're not abandoning the drive, you're preventing a spin-out. A pause is short, specific, and safe. You say, I'm getting flooded. I'm going to step onto the balcony for 10 minutes, then come back. The promise of return is the healing ointment. It keeps trust intact while emotions settle. Here's the moment most couples miss. The first 60 seconds after someone calls a pause decide the next 24 hours. If you argue about the pause, you escalate. If you honor it, you de-escalate. Have you noticed what usually happens in your home when someone asks for a break? But there's something even quieter holding love together that we often overlook. It's not sequencing the perfect argument or memorizing rules. It's learning how to see your partner's inner weather and reflect it back without judgment, so their nervous system receives the signal, you're safe here. That signal changes everything. Validation is the gentlest bandage, and it sticks best when it's simple. You don't have to agree with your partner's view to recognize their emotion. You can say, it makes sense you'd feel disappointed if I said I'd be home by 6 and walked in at 7:15. You can add, I hear that you felt unimportant tonight. That acknowledgement calms the body like cool water on a burn. Many people worry validation means surrender. It doesn't. It's stabilizing the wound so you can treat it properly. When you validate, you're not giving up your perspective. You're making space for both truths to sit at the same table. In that shared space, solutions become possible without pulling love apart. Here's a small phrase that opens big doors. Let me see if I'm getting you. Then reflect back the core feeling in a sentence. If you're off, your partner will correct you. If you're close, their shoulders drop. Have you tried that line before? And what happens in your relationship when you do? But there's something even more foundational than validation. Something that keeps fractures from forming in the first place. It's the rhythm of reconnection. Tiny rituals that make everyday life feel like a soft landing, not a test. When rituals are steady, conflicts are peaks on a gentle landscape, not cliffs you fear falling from. Picture a 5-minute morning check-in while the coffee brews. One question each. What's your stress level? 1 to 10. What's one way I can make today easier? No long meeting, no lecture. Just brief, real touch points that keep the emotional health in marriage from running on empty. Think of it as love maintenance, the habit that keeps the engine smooth. After work, consider a 2-block walk before any heavy conversation. Movement helps words move too. In winter, the air is crisp enough to make you breathe deeper. In summer, the sidewalks hold the day's warmth, and a slow stroll at dusk loosens tight feelings. Small, consistent rituals are love-healing tools that stop small scrapes from becoming infections. Rituals also include playful repair, a goofy handshake, a short playlist you always put on after a fight to signal, "We're on the same team again," a quick shared snack at the kitchen island. These reconnection rituals aren't childish, they're wise. They remind the body that safety has returned, even before the mind is fully convinced. There's a hidden pattern in relationships that feels sturdy. They repair early and they repair small. They don't wait for a dramatic apology montage. They reach across the couch with a knee touch and a soft sentence before the silence hardens. What's one micro-ritual you could adopt this week to make closeness easier to find? But there's a different kind of repair you'll want for bigger ruptures, the ones that leave echoing hurt even after the voices quiet down. This repair needs 3 pieces: safety, empathy, and a specific action. Skip any one of them, and healing wobbles. Put them together, and trust learns it can rely on you again. Safety sounds like this: I'm here, and I want to understand. I will not interrupt. Empathy sounds like this: I see how my joke landed like criticism. I get why that stung. And a specific action sounds like this: I'm going to stop teasing about schedules and set phone alerts so late doesn't become our pattern. That action is the stitch. It holds the edges together. When you model repair, your partner learns that conflict is survivable. Your home begins to carry a different echo. Fewer sharp edges, more soft landings. That's relationship resilience in practice, and it's the opposite of avoidance. It's facing what hurts with tools that prevent re-injury. Here's a simple barometer for whether your repair is working. The body softens, shoulders drop, breath lengthens, eyes return. If you still feel braced, you likely need another layer. Perhaps a quiet, "Is there something I missed in what mattered most to you?" What would that question open up in your next hard conversation? But there's another quiet skill that keeps couples out of the emergency room of arguments. It's learning to name your own internal state before it acts you. You might say, "I'm at an 8 out of 10 right now. I want to be kind, but I'm flooded." That transparency isn't weakness. It's guidance that helps your partner choose gentler steps. When both people can name their temperature, the room becomes safer. You stop taking every tone personally. You read the situation like weather, not character. On a stormy day, you both drive slower. On a clear day, you take the scenic route, windows down, and enjoy the ride because the conditions invite ease. Transparency pairs well with agreements that protect the relationship. You can agree that after 10 p.m., you table big topics. You can agree that sarcasm gets swapped for specificity. You can agree that if someone asks for a pause, the other supports it, and both return at a set time. These are not rules that suffocate. They are guardrails that keep you out of the ditch. In homes where agreements are honored, trust doesn't need constant defending. It can relax. It can play. It can grow. And when trust relaxes, desire and affection have room to come closer again, because the body believes it won't be ambushed by a sudden blow-up in the hallway at midnight. Here's a counterintuitive truth that many therapists report. Most couples don't lack love. They lack rituals that make love feel usable under stress. That's why a small habit like a nightly good check in the doorway, 2 minutes, phones down, can change the week. What ritual would fit your real life without feeling like another chore? But there's a deeper layer where many relationships either wobble or become unshakable. It's the story you tell yourself about your partner during conflict. If the story is, they don't care, every pause feels like abandonment. If the story is, they do care and they're overwhelmed, a pause feels like caregiving. The story you choose will shape your tone before you speak. Language is your best tool for choosing a better story. Try this soft pivot. The part of me that's hurt tells me you don't care. The part of me that knows you says you do, and you're stretched thin. I'm going to listen to the second part. That sentence invites your partner into dignity. It invites you into steadiness. Dignity is the soil where couples grow stronger after stumbles. You can't build long-term closeness on contempt. You build it on small, honoring moves, like thanking your partner when they come back after a pause, or noticing the effort behind a clumsy first attempt at repair. Gratitude isn't decoration. It's medicine. This is why we return, again and again, to gentle, repeatable practices instead of dramatic speeches. Love prefers what you do every Tuesday to what you promise once in a lifetime. That steadiness is what turns quick fixes into lasting emotional health in marriage and makes reconnection feel trustworthy rather than performative. Here's a quick reflection checkpoint. Do your repairs today look different from a year ago? If growth is present, you'll notice more specifics, faster de-escalation, and less emotional whiplash. If not, that's information, not failure. What's one small upgrade you can apply this week to make repair more reliable? But there's a comfort we all need in the middle of learning new skills. Belonging. You're not the only one figuring this out. You're not behind. You're in a human relationship, which means you're in a living classroom. At Whispered Hearts, English, we hold that classroom with softness because love learns best in gentle places. Now, let's model a repair in real time. Picture a Saturday errand run. One of you lingers at the hardware store. The other is hungry and tired in the car. Words get brittle. You breathe. Someone says, "I'm spiking. I need a 5-minute reset. I care about you, and I'll come back to this." You both step into the shade, drink water, and reconvene. When you return, the listening ear goes first. Let me reflect what I heard. You felt stuck and unconsidered. That made your day feel small. The other nods, softens and replies, "I wasn't thinking of your hunger. I'm sorry. I'm setting a timer next time, and I'll check in before I wander." A small handshake, a quiet playlist. The rest of the day reopens. This is conflict recovery without theatrics. It's ordinary and dependable. It's the kind of repair that doesn't need a therapist in your living room to remind you what love sounds like. You already know. Your kit just helps you reach it faster when tension fogs the way. Here's a curiosity spike to keep with you. What if the most powerful part of your communication repair kit is not what you say, but when you say it? Timing can turn the same sentence into balm or salt. Have you noticed a time of day when repair works best for you both? But there's a layer many couples skip because life gets loud. Prevention. It's less glamorous than repair, but it's cheaper in energy and pain. Prevention looks like a weekly 10-minute state of us check on the porch, not a budget meeting, not a performance review. Just, what's one small joy and one small stress, and what support would help this week? Prevention is also keeping an eye on the basics. Sleep, food, sunlight, movement. Not because relationships are reducible to biology, but because bodies carry relationships. A hungry body hears neutral sentences as threats. A rested body can hear, "I'm overwhelmed," as an invitation to teamwork, not a trigger for defense. Sometimes the most loving thing you can say is the simplest. "Let's pause this until after dinner." Or, "Let's talk while walking." Or, "Can we cuddle first and speak from there?" Physical closeness is not a cure-all, but it reminds your nervous systems that you're allies. Your hands can say, "Same team," even when your words are still warming up. Here's a practical image to keep in your mind. A small box in your entryway. Inside, index cards with validation lines, a timer, a playlist QR code, and a pen to capture one thing you appreciated today. It's an actual communication kit, not just a concept. What would you put in yours to make repair easy to reach on hard days? But there's one more quiet skill to add to the mix: owning impact without collapsing. You can say, "I see that my tone made you feel dismissed. That wasn't my intention, and it was still the impact. I'm sorry for the impact." This separates intention from effect, which lets honesty and accountability stand side by side. When accountability shows up, so does forgiveness. Not instantly, not mechanically. But forgiveness needs a place to land, and accountability builds that landing. With time, the unseen ledger of small resentments clears. The heart becomes lighter. You remember why you picked each other in the first place. On certain evenings, healing feels like the hush of spring rain on the sidewalk. On others, it feels like raking autumn leaves together, the scratch of the bristles, the shared satisfaction of a tidy yard. Seasons change, but the rituals of care remain steady. They're the beats you return to when words are complicated. Here's a quick window into future you. Months from now, you'll face another tense moment. You'll catch the swell sooner. You'll say, "Pause," and both of you will know it's a bridge, not a wall. You'll come back, validate, choose a small action, and the rest of the evening will still be yours. But there's something we haven't named explicitly yet. Laughter. Not as a dodge, but as a light that reminds you this is your teammate. Sometimes the kindest repair is a smile that says, "I'm glad it's you," followed by a sincere, "Let's try again." Humor can unstick stubborn moments, especially when it's gentle and never at the other's expense. If you've tracked this far, you already carry more capacity than when we began. You have a pause you can trust. You have validation scripts that honor emotion without surrendering your perspective. You have reconnection rituals that turn ordinary rooms into safe harbors. You're building something sturdier than right versus wrong. You're building a home where love can breathe. Here's an action challenge to make it real. Tonight, agree on a pause phrase you both like. Write 3 validation lines that feel natural in your voices. Choose one reconnection ritual that takes 5 minutes or less. Then use them once this week and notice what changes. Will you share what lands for you in the comments so others can learn from your kit? But there's an even sweeter step if you're willing. Celebrate the first time you use the kit, even if it's messy. Name it. We did that. Make a small toast on the couch. Let your nervous systems associate repair with warmth. That link invites you to reach for the kit sooner next time, before frustration swells into something harder to climb down from. We'll close the circle with this reminder. You're not trying to become perfect communicators. You're learning to be steady healers. That's what keeps love resilient when life throws curveballs and routines get messy. Steady healers leave room for grace, and grace makes a house feel like home. As you carry these tools into your days, the pause, the reflection, the ritual. Remember you're part of a wider community of couples figuring it out, too. At Whispered Hearts, English, we're alongside you as you practice. We listen for the quiet wins, the ordinary tenderness, the small choices that add up to a trustworthy life together. Breathe once more for the version of you who chose repair today, the version who said, "We can do this differently." In that choice is a future you'll be grateful to meet. In that future, love doesn't feel fragile. It feels cared for, even on the hard days. If this spoke to you, and you're building your own emotional first aid for relationships, tell us what goes in your kit. Whispered Hearts. English will keep offering calm, practical guidance, and your voice makes it richer. What's one tool you'll reach for first the next time tension steps into the room?